Imagine being so wealthy that people still talk about you 700 years later. Your name becomes a symbol of power, abundance, and legendary status. Sounds unreal, right? Well, that's exactly who Mansa Musa was, the richest man in history. But here's the kicker. His story isn't just about gold. It's about strategy, wisdom, and making moves that last for centuries. What if you could apply those same principles today? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to Mansa Musa your way to wealth. January 14th, 1011. Before we get into it, let me ask, have you ever felt like you're working hard but not seeing the rewards? Maybe you're even afraid of waking up one day realizing you wasted your prime years. Don't worry, you're not alone. And here's the good news. Mansa Musa's strategy didn't involve shortcuts, luck, or chasing shiny objects. It was built on timeless principles, and I'm about to show you how you can use them in your life. Point 1. Master the power of ownership. Mansa Musa didn't just acquire wealth, he owned the source of it. He controlled massive gold mines in Mali, essentially dominating one of the most valuable resources of his time. Now let me ask you this. Do you own anything that produces value? Here's the scary part. If you're just trading your time for money, you're stuck in a cycle. True wealth starts when you own assets, a business, real estate, or even intellectual property. Imagine planting a tree that bears fruit for decades. That's ownership. So, what's stopping you from starting small today? Maybe it's fear. Let me tell you, fear kills more dreams than failure ever will. Pattern interrupt. Humorous comment. Unless you're planning to discover a hidden gold mine in your backyard, which, hey, if you do, call me. You've got to think strategically about what you can own. Transition to next point. But owning assets is only half the equation. Let's talk about protecting and multiplying that wealth. Point 2. Think generationally, not temporarily. Mansa Musa wasn't just rich for himself, he built a legacy. His empire influenced the world for centuries. Here's the urgent lesson for us. Wealth isn't about how much you make, but how much you keep and grow over time. Are you investing for your future, or are you splurging on things that will be forgotten next year? If you've ever said, "I'll start saving later," let me give you a reality check. Later becomes never. Wealth grows over decades, not days. It's like planting seeds in a garden. The sooner you start, the bigger the harvest. Think about this. What's one thing you could cut today to invest in your future self? Cliffhanger. And speaking of the future, what's the biggest mistake people make that destroys everything they've worked for? We'll get to that. But first, point 3. Give generously, gain strategically. Mansa Musa wasn't just known for his wealth. He was famous for his generosity. On his pilgrimage to Mecca, he gave away so much gold that it reportedly disrupted entire economies. Now you might think, wait, giving money away? How does that build wealth? Here's the secret. Generosity creates opportunities, networks, and goodwill that money alone can't buy. Think of it this way. Every act of generosity is an investment in relationships and reputation. But don't just give aimlessly. Be strategic. Invest in causes or people aligned with your values. It's not just about wealth, it's about impact. And impact is what creates real, lasting power. Pattern interrupt. Question. By the way, when's the last time you invested in someone else? Could be as simple as buying a book for a friend or mentoring someone. Try it, you might be surprised by the ROI. But here's the twist. Mansa Musa's story isn't just a roadmap for building wealth. It's also a cautionary tale about what happens if you don't handle success wisely. The resolution and CTA. Point 4. The danger of losing focus. Mansa Musa's wealth was legendary, but it also had consequences. His lavish spending disrupted economies and made him a target for invaders after his death. The lesson? Wealth without discipline is a ticking time bomb. Here's where many people go wrong. They chase wealth without understanding how to sustain it. They splurge, take on debt, or let success make them complacent. Don't let that be you. Build systems, automate your savings, diversify your investments, and always keep learning. Wealth is a tool, not the goal. Cliffhanger. Tease. And speaking of building systems, do you know the single most powerful concept that can turn even small savings into massive wealth? It's called the power of compounding. Most people overlook it, but those who master